In this video, we're talking about burns. Burns are very, very common in babies and children. And some of the most common things that we see are those curious little fingers that reach up onto the coffee table or pulling down on a tablecloth, and that hot cup of tea or coffee gets knocked onto the child. Other things that we see, hands reaching up to the stove, onto those pan handles that are turned out, hands on top of barbecues, hands on top of heaters, and frequently hair straighteners. Little ones will crawl into the bathroom or walk into the bathroom, tug on that cord, and they'll grab those tongs without realising how hot they are. So what do you need to do? With burns, get their clothes off unless they are stuck to the skin. You need to remove that heat source, and often that hot cup of tea or coffee will have soaked into the clothes. Get their clothes off and get their nappy off too. It's really important. You might not realise that that hot cup of tea has gone down inside the nappy, and those crystals in the nappies will retain heat and they will end up with awful genital burns. So get their clothes off unless they're stuck to the skin. If the clothes are stuck to the skin, don't peel it off. Cool over the top with 20 minutes minimum of cold running tap water. And that goes for any burn. When we're burned, what happens is even after we remove the heat source, that burn continues to get deeper and the burning process continues. To stop that burning process, we need to put the burned part under a minimum of 20 minutes of cold running tap water. Now, in a child who's pulled that hot cup of tea down onto themselves, get their clothes and nappy off. Step into the shower, turn on the cold tap, and keep them warm with your body heat because they will get cold. Any unburned parts, keep warm, and a minimum of 20 minutes of cold running tap water. Now, if it's an arm or a leg, use the kitchen sink, use the garden hose. Absolutely, you can put their hand or foot into a bucket, but you need to keep changing the water over frequently because the water will heat up. Now, children will often not tolerate having running water on their face. So if it's their face that's burned, you can use a spray bottle or consider using a face wash or a tea towel. Every 10 seconds into the water over the top and change it over every 10 seconds to have that constant cool water over the burn. You must do 20 minutes of cold running tap water. Even if you've called an ambulance will arrive and they will help you and give your child some fantastic pain relief while the cooling process continues, because burns are incredibly painful. If it's a minor burn, give them some paracetamol or some ibuprofen. If it's an extensive burn, get that ambulance to come with their pain relief. Now, children will burn at much lower temperatures than what we will. That hot cup of tea that we could stick our fingers in and go, ouch, that's hot, and not have a mark, a child will blister from. So the important thing is that any burn in a child needs to be seen by a medical professional, because we don't want them to scar, because scars don't grow. So a child that may end up with some blistering on their finger, if that scars, they'll end up like this because the scar won't grow, but the rest of their finger will. So it's important to get proper treatment for a burn in a child to ensure that they don't end up with scars. So, minimum of 20 minutes of cold running tap water, keep warm any bits that aren't burned, and seek medical help.